Howdy.
Hi. Okay. Let me share this. Okay. And let me do that one. Okay.
Um, this is the English
Yeah,
version.
that's how you put it out first, right? Before you put out the Hebrew.
Yeah, like 1987, 88.
Yeah. I've seen it before.
But it's also got a lot of notes and stuff.
Yeah,
Anyway,
maybe it's a
for our
doctoral
viewers at
dissertation.
home, if they're interested, that's what it looks like.
I wonder if it's a doctoral dissertation. I don't remember what it was exactly originally. Um, where are we up to in the print that I didn't fold over my page?
I have us at page Kuf Mem Zayin.
I'm sorry. Okay. Uh, no, we're not going to sorry. It's much further than that.
Kuf Samach
Kuf
Zayin.
Samazan, you said?
Kuf Samach Zayin,
Kuf
yeah.
Samazan, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes a mem looks like a Samach.
Okay.
Let's get a little more light in the room.
Okay. So it's kind of out of left field here. Um, um, we're going back in time here. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, uh, the, you said to in the previous parak in the text he has in the screen text he says, "Va'adif to Rebbe Rosh Galusa Nigim Bavel Lo Rashif to Mesipta Nasim the Inun Rosh Yisrael Red So Va'avak and Farish Ba'avos Ad Hillel V'Shamai." So now going back evidently to Hillel and Shammai, and but uh, going back to say the Seder Tanoim. Sorry, I'm not sure why. We already learned about them before. Sarah Hill Shimon Beno. Let's see in the footnote he says on page in the text on page Kufsan above the bottom. Ad Hill Shamay Loboramai Kavanas Rashir Gon. I miss Kavel Mashakir Shitchisha Shemos Shumim Sham Malcha Shachayu Be'eretz Yisrael. Superficial reading this indicates he lived in Eretz Yisrael. Yes, established Rak Maskir of Dasha Zagosu Rosh Sanhedrin Miniyim Ba'avos. That they count of us. The Torah Okay, so why he goes to this the list here? It's unclear, but it's here. So we'll read it. B'sar Hillel Shimon Beno Basar Rabban Gamliel Hazakim Beno Basar Rabban Shimon Gamliel Kama Diskat Kami Chumra Abayis who was killed before the Churban Abayis. Who Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha Kohen Gadol. You know Shmuel ben Elisha Kohen Gadol, of course, mentioned in the Kinos. Uh, um, Vilain Arba Dore Hava B'Chlau Hana Kuf Shonei. They're including 100 years. The mean says the Shabbos Hill V'Shimon V'Gamliel V'Shimon Nogan Yusuf Ne'Bayis Me'ashona. This is the last 100 years after the before the Churban. V'Sar B'Shimon Gamliel and after Shimon Gamliel the Skata Baruch Malchus who was killed among those kills who were killed among the martyrs. Um, the we have Rabbi. It's interesting. It would be nice to know the near year. I don't know. It must be in the '60s of the common of the first century, the common era, because it was probably slightly before the Churban Abayis. But at the time of the Churban already, the Yochanan Zakkai had taken over.
Mhm.
So it wasn't after the Churban; it was before the Churban. Um, was that's it. Saturn Shingamil is Scott Maris Abraham ben Zakkai. Buava beaten the Churban Abayis. He was there at the time of the Churban. Vavkul Avkul Livas Aspasian case they took him out of Vespasian. Kishmer Shul Shalalta the Gamil asked for the lineage of Gamil to be saved. Yavna Chachamel. Kachoga Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai Rabban Biyavna when they were calmed down. Yavna Takilu Eser Takonos. They made 10 takonos. I think they're 18 mentioned there in uh, in in Shabbos, but I guess it includes other ones made later on. Uh, it says Oh, here it says, Taman Research, Rosh Hashanah, Lamed Al Beis, Sota Man Beis, Memel Al, Time Bezu Achaz, Mitesh Dakos. Eight Dakos of Shabbos, so Hillel, Tamid Beis Hillel, Beis Shammai. I got that wrong. Sorry, that was, scratch that number. But it says that there were 9 Dakos, the Rabbi Yochanan. Zakimet, 10, 9 and not 10. But in any event, there were a lot of Dakos he made. Okay, so the, Mishkar Beis Mitesh, Rabbi Yochanan, Zakkai, B'Tchlev, Baruch Chayil. Then she was in Baruch Chayil. Okay, I don't know if it was before the Churban in Baruch Chayil or after the Churban in Baruch Chayil. But some ways in Baruch Chayil, and then afterwards he went to Yavne. Okay, um, it's a lot of notes here on page Kuf Samaches. I don't think any of them are important for us. He does make an important point on Kuf Samaches. Liyavne. Well, there are two things here. First, on the word Liyavne, he does speak about this in the bottom of Hey, Chidush Gadol Yesh Kan Barasa Shir Gaon. There's a big Chiddush here. Most of the what's the word?
Investigators, researchers.
Yeah, researchers of this school, this period. After he asked the permission from the station, he immediately went to Yavne to and it's Chachamim. I get in something else. It's Leno. Shalom is Kim Nigud. I guess Nun Samech, one of our versions here. Nusach Samech, which mentions Nomas Kim Nigud Nusach Tzadik Habakosha Ten Liav Chachmeh. Rega Mavas Rabbi Nasan. It says also he went to Yavne. So I'm going outside the parentheses. Until Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai left on his own volition. I thought he died a couple years after the Churban, but he says he left Yavne on his own volition in order to give room for Gamliel Shem and Tzetzei based on Hillel Roy Yosef. He died to Yos Nasi. When Nasi Baruch Chayil, according to these researchers, he went to Baruch Chayil after he left Yavne.
Okay.
Okay, so that's not not first Baruch Chayil then Yavne, but Yavne then Baruch Chayil. Etc. etc. Rashir Gamliel should be Chayil be Baruch Chayil Barak v'Soif Nam Yavne. Pelo Chokim Anal Almi Grisasenu Kan Ben Nusach Tzadik. Agav Gam Koheles Rabban Yochanan should be Sof Yom Chayil Yechem Zakkai Adain Baruch Chayil Lo B'Yavne. That he remained resident in Baruch Chayil. She is a Sham Shalachim to Yosef Rabbi Yechem Zakkai be Baruch Chayil. Sir Elizabeth Arach Lo Leches Ichaver L'Yavne. Elizabeth did not want to go to Yavne. In other words, go back. It says here the Pirish and Mokam Acher. The Gamay De Chakshin Shtakach Talmudo. Well, that Gemara in Shabbos says that he went Diumsis. It seems even in the lifetime of Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai. But it sounds like he went to Diumsis after the death of Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai. But in any event, Chenu Gam Bagabas Nasa now, etc. Okay, but in any event, Shano Rakla Shir, social base Goldberg. Zel Shano Yasai Near Kibur Chayil. Who ear Yavne Batzma? I love when researchers come up with these
inventions.
Hey, inventions, yeah. Why not? Baruch Chayil is Yavne. Minik Bered Solitain Shema Shonas Ir Achas. Come on, Vulam lose Shema Ir Rishona. My base was lose. Fraparim Yeshu Yisrael B'Makon Difrad Miagrim B'Ir Achas. It's actually where the Jews and Goyim lived in separate sections, same city. This will resolve several contradictions between history and Jewish history. So get us the Gemara with Senish Lamed Beis, the Medish goes to Rabban now. Will come course Chazal. The words break the roof because it's clear here that Baruch and Yavne are two separate places. Okay. In any event, going back to the text, not back to the text, back to the Biurim. Lo Baruch Madur of Shirgan Omer Zeh. יש כבר שכם שהתקונס כל יושע יחס כל עם ישראל מאין אלו שהתקין רבי יוחנן בן זכאי לא ימסו את הכל unless based on Ayin Aleph, since to make a general takon is usually something which only a basin of 71 can do. Shemikuma yabos tekuva rak biyavne, which is only located then in Yavne. Gemara Sherira Gaon of Nam Kosei, v'kat shachar Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai Rabbana biyavne. Chen tzarich b'shingam liel laskir Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai igia liyavne tanyin eser takonosav. Avli sheyadua sheya garba b'ror chayil. Even though evidently he was known that he lived in Bor Chayil, ki isa sanejlan beis helach achar beis in Yafeh, achar Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai the Bor Chayil. So evidently, either he moved to Yavne or he visited Yavne in order to make these 10 takonos together with the Sanhedrin. But
Okay.
even in Bor Chayil, evidently he had some connection with Yavne. I thought he died, and that's how Gamliel took over, not that he went and resigned and went to live somewhere else. Okay, but I don't see here that there's a contradiction over here. It says, it goes on to say, Ubasrei Gamliel Benosh Gamliel Zakin Shnei Masar Marugim Malchus. Also Gamliel Nasi Biavne. Rabbi Yeshua was not based in. They came inside Gamliel. Rabbi Yeshua Tlos Zimne. Once Rabbi Gamliel caused anguish to Rabbi Yeshua 3 times. Abrua. They kicked him out, which is of course the story I mentioned night of Pesach. Like Rabbi Lezman Azariah, Shu Chacham Vu Asher, who was smart and was rich. Vu Asher Ezra Seifin was the 10th generation Ezra. But the Paisin, then they made peace for Hadro and Gamliel brought Gamliel back. Love to Rabbi Lezman, love Ru Rabbi Lezman Azariah. Didn't remove Lezman Azariah completely. And Rabbi Gamliel Tarte Shabsa 2 weeks was on Gamliel week. So Lezman Azariah Chada Shabsa. Azariah was 1 week. The Rabbi Lezman the confession Gemara Tfilas Shachar. Like the Gemara explains it. Vasrei Rabbi Shin Gamliel, but no Hayan Nasi, then average Shin Gamliel. Vasrei Ben HaKadosh Brei, the Nasi was a son, Shebet Tzipori Bei Shachim. Okay. But here they both start a new parak. Parak Yud Aleph in the printed text, parak Yud Gimel in the screen text. B'yamoi, in the days of Rebbe, Ravuna Kama have a Reish Galusa. Ravuna, the first, was the Reish Galusa Bavel. Find Arminon, and that's what the Gemara says. The Gemara said, I believe it's Sanhedrin. Horios, sorry. He says here in the on the screen text. This is Ravuna Kama. Ain't Ravuna Yadu B'Shas Tamid the Rav. It was the Rav, it was the Ravuna Kadmon, but there's a Rebbe. Yeshnik Ravuna Tamidei, the Rav Nechto. Some say the Ravuna, who was the time of Rav, was a grandson of this one. Iggeres Maskir Rabbeinu, Ravuna Tamidei, the Rav, Mibnean and Siusaya. He was from the progeny of Nasius, Klomar, Mizer, Rosh Yagola. Okay, so it could be they were related. So, if you have a Rebbe, of Ravuna Kamarish, because of Avai, Kaminan, Bamine, Rebbe Chia, Rebbe Asayakon, Ani Mani Basir, could I, if I, it was last week's Parsha, Parshas Vayikra. If I sinned, would I bring a male goat, like the Nasi mentioned in the Torah, or a female goat? Amar Lo says like a regular, a common citizen. Amar Lo Arei Tzaroscha Bavel. You would not bring a male goat because you have your rival in Bavel, which is Umana Ravuna. The Gemara says that who was that? That was Ravuna. Umasti Rav Safra. And Safra thought. Dachim Marley Hassam. Hacham is what's his name. Hassam Shevet V'Hacham B'Chokek. Okay, that's it says Nai Lesser Shem Yehuda Michoki Bein Raglov. And it says the rod will not be spared from Yehuda. That is the Rosh Kol and Bavel, who's able to has executive power, is able to has corporal power for corporal capital punishment from the Malchus, and you're the Mechokek Mi Ben Raglov, you are the lawgiver, which is not doesn't necessarily have that executive power. So let's see what he says here a little bit extended here. Rav Savra Kashi, Michael Marley Aretz Vaskal Bavel. Mike Basley, Michael Bavel. What do we care what happens at Bavel? Beretz still like a melech. And so there's no king. Rebbe, Bavgad Reish Galusa nine Melchu, even though Reish Galusa is over king, become comes a Melch Reish Sov, a Melch Bavel. There are multiple kings. It's not like two kings who are asserting claim over the same crown. He didn't mean to say you're rivals in Bavel. This is what he said to him, you're subordinate. Atla Melechat, you're not a king. Reish Galusa the Bavel Ikri Melech. Because he has executive power. You were just a lawgiver. That's why you don't bring a male goat. You just bring a female goat or sheep like any other person. Okay, so the pasuk is the frame of reference for that. As they said, they impose their power with authority, with corporal punishment. They teach Torah, but they're limited to being Torah teaching. So those in Bavel are superior because they're Shevet. Now, I think that there's an implicit statement here, obviously, of Churban that, hey, guys, we in Bavel, we have superior authority to you guys in Eretz Yisrael. But I'm not sure about that.
Well, I mean, at that point, there was nothing left in Eretz Yisrael by the time he's writing.
What?
At the time Rashir Gaon is writing,
Yes,
there's nothing left in Eretz Yisrael.
Nevertheless, a few years later, at the time of Sadi Gaon, the Rosh Yeshiva in Tveria, Rabban Ben Meir, made the whole tumult about the Luach. So there was always a yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael. The question is,
okay.
The question is what, and perhaps there's always this issue. I don't know if I'm saying it's true or not. Perhaps there's always this issue. We're afraid that there was always this yeshiva in Tveria. Okay, with second rate, it was there. They could make trouble, and in fact, in 922, they did try to make trouble. So, I don't know. Maybe not. Could be I'm mistaken, but he does say, it's just historical. I don't know. Yomi the Rebbe Nach Nafshi Ravuna Bavel. The Gemara talks about this that during Rebbe's lifetime, Ravuna died. Prasher Rabban B'Yushami Kilayim Ksubis. It says there, She'er Rebbe Ana B'Yoser. The Rebbe was very modest. He said, anything anybody tells me to do, I will do. Except I'm not capable of doing what the Ziknei B'Seira did when my grandfather Hillel came. The Shadungar Maim Nisusa Manone that they removed themselves from the Siyas and appointed themselves. The Solik Ravuna Ravuna come Bezir Anamasim Le'el I will put him above myself. To Ushin Shevi Yehuda, Hayisim Shevi Yehuda, Anam Shevi Binyamin. Who revived Yehuda Miduchraya? He is from the great of Yehuda, from the male side. That's it says Shevet Yehuda. Mean Daksa Minukva from the weaker, from the female line. That says Mibain Raglov. And Raglov means from the Rebbe was only from Shevet Yehuda on his mother's side. Chazman Ayel Rebbe Chil Rabbi Gabe. So one time Rebbe Chil the Great came into Rebbe. Amalei said, "Ravuna Lebar. Ravuna's outside." These karkum upon him to Rebbe. So Rebbe's face came red. So Amalei Rebbe Chil said, "No, I was just kidding. Aronabah. He came dead, not alive. You don't have to be tested out by this." Amalei so he said, "Rebbe Chil, Puchaz in my body b'lochabar. Go see who wants you outside." Never loshkach barnash. So Rebbe went out, found there was nobody outside. The other Rebbe the Kosalei Rebbe, he knew Rebbe was upset, and he conducted himself as reprimanded for Shlasing Yomim. V'legabed Rebbe Shlasing Yomim didn't go into Rebbe for 30 days. Amar Rebbe Yosef said, Amar Yosef Rebbe, Amar Yosef Rebun, but Hillel and Shlasing Yomim in those 30 days, Yolif Rabbi Nekol clearly the right. So Rav learned from Rabbi Chia, who was evicted from the base manager of Rebbe, all the principles of the Torah, which it's interesting what it says here below. I have no idea where you get this. Cloaking at the rise of Kol Klen Shabbatorah, going Shlosh Yisrael Midos Shatter and the Judgment Chayetzabem, like the 13 Midos Rabbi Shmuel. If he should know of Tzarchlin Hok the Eva, because somebody is rapping man that has to conduct himself like an Avel. Basi divrei Torah, not allowed to learn. You also Rabbi Chia b'li mutar mamish ala seder. Rabbi Chia could not teach a regular shir. If he'll make klali Torah, is teaching the principal Torah. Lo chashiv Torah mamish. It's not like Torah, literal Torah. El kachwana limud Torah. Just like preparatory, the principles. Rabbi Yoshevet Slov learned them imenu. Okay, that's a very big chiddush. I have no idea where he gets that from. But I don't think a nosov actually is also to learn Torah if you're reprimanded. But okay.
Okay.
It's interesting that the in the printed version, none of this is brought down. This last line is not there. On page, go find Gimel.
I'm looking at it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. There are different manuscripts, different versions.
Yeah. Okay, so the let's finish the parak here according to the screen text. V'ismai b'saravuna b'bava Mar Ukva. Next Reish Galusa is Mar Ukva. V'hava b'adei Shmuel. Shmuel and Mar Ukva were contemporaries. I mean, Shmuel and Mar Ukva could have a garse when they were learning together. Rabbi Yossi Mar Ukva came to Shmuel without Amos day. He was sitting from Shmuel in his 4 Amos. Rabbi Yossi Bedina when they were sitting in other words, he would subordinate himself to Shmuel because Shmuel is a big time chacham. Rabbi Yossi Bedina when they sit in judgment. So then, Havi Yossi Shmuel Kamei to Mar Ukva Bar Abbas Day. So then Mar Ukva took the superior position. And then it's more of my cut daf to sign base. For me, Shmuel Rav Yehuda, Shmuel said to Rav Yehuda, "It's Talmud Shinina, sharp one. Reisha b'kriyei, the Reisha b'chamime. Your head is in cold water, and the head of your head is in hot water. I forget where the marshal is. Says Shmuel Ozi b'toyachim Talmido Basab name Isha woman came from them, but so Bachas name. She was crying, shouting in front of them. Somebody who was shortchanging her. Bikshi says Mila Din, let's Leo Mimani wanted to be summoned for judgment. Shmuel will not pay attention. Lazmina's Baldina Ladin to invite her litigant to court case. Lotim Mishpat Laura and to adjudicate her claim. But it's never question many Rabbi Yehuda. Shmuel says, "Shmuel lo savali mar lahai kroa." Don't you know this pasuk? Seem oitem osnem izakaz dalgam hu yikra v'lo yaneh. And somebody who closes his ears from the cries of the impoverished, he will call out to God, not be answered. There's a penalty if anybody doesn't save those who should be saved from those who are oppressing them. They don't go judge me in cold water because I'm not the Dayan. Mar Ukva shu Reish the Reish, Klomar who Rosh Li the Mishpat. He's ahead of, he's over me. There's a mission within Osi Dunu B'Chamime B'Mayim Chamim Klomar Ein Mush B'Tal Alai Ella Rosh Gola Below Alai. So the Rosh Gola is going to be punished for not having done what's right. As it says, Mar Ukva based no Kayam. So he's going to be the one who's punished for not having made the judgment which he's supposed to make, supposed to have made at the time. Okay, and now we have a new thing which is about Rav. So now Murray Bavel, the first generation. So I guess we'll leave that.
Okay.
Okay.
Next week will be
going to be a
Sunday. Obviously, is
yeah. We'll be in touch about Chol Moed. We'll say maybe Chol Moed we can learn sometime. Not Sunday, obviously. Not for me. Not for me. Not for you. Right? It's for you too. Right. Okay. So we'll be in touch when it's Chol Moed.
Okay.
Okay. Chag Kosher v'Sameach.
Chag Kosher v'Sameach. Take care.